Hello everybody, Red here, and today we're going to be talking about some tips for Pokemon Pokopia that might help you out, especially in the early game. Now, I'm still quite early in the game, as you can see. I have the Pokemon Center belt, but I haven't done much else. I don't have anything crazy going on, but some little tips that I've picked up as I've been playing the game, and just tips I've seen from other people posting around on the internet. I thought I'd compile a few of them together into a video and share them with you guys, so that if you are, maybe not know some of these things that could be useful to you, you can find them all here. Hopefully some of this stuff will be quite helpful to you. So let's start going over some stuff. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is building houses. So in the early game, you don't have a lot of materials. One thing you can do is if you simply build an 8x8 fence like this with a gate or a door attached to it, the game will count this as an actual house. You can house 4 Pokemon in this house. As you can see there at the top left, I have 4 Pokemon. And if you come inside and put grass down like this, 2x2 grass, each of these also will count as a habitat, so you can have 4 more Pokemon in this same little area, and even potentially a 9th if you build another habitat out of furniture items like I have here with Gulpin. And then you can simply put some furniture items in here, like this toy, this bench, and all 9 Pokemon will get the comfortability upgrades from these. So it's a very easy way to save space on building houses, storing having a lot of Pokemon in one house, and getting all of their comfortability leveled up all at once. It is very handy, saves a lot of space and materials in the early game. Now, another early game thing I want to talk about is hydrating the land. So early on, the land will obviously be very dry. Everything will be dry and dead, and you'll feel like you want to run around and water everything. Don't waste your time doing this. Just do a little bit, do the little bits you need for getting some trees and some tall grass and stuff like that hydrated, but don't go too crazy, because if you just progress the story a little bit, you will eventually get the ability to make it rain, or have rain happen quite often in game. And that will just automatically hydrate most of the land without you having to really do anything. And you don't want to spend hours just walking around hydrating everything when you can have the rain do most of the work for you. Now, looking at the Pokemon Center here, another tip that I have, and something I wish I did, when you get to the point where you're doing big builds like this, that are going to take a much longer time, like the Pokemon Center here, takes a full day. Now, this full day isn't 24 hours, it's just till the next day starts. So what you can do for these builds that are going to take that long, wait until the end of the day, when you're going to finish playing, like at night time. Start the build then, stop playing, go to bed. When you wake up the next day, the build will be done. Don't waste time with your Pokemon being stuck building this all day when you're trying to play and you want to maybe have them do other stuff for you. Just wait till the end of the day and do your builds then, especially the big ones like this. Another thing you can do, a little tip for the Pokemon Center stuff, on the PC, in the shop, if you see a recipe in the daily shop that's today only, just buy it. Because you might as well, you might never see it again, or you might not see it for a long time. It's always worth buying, they're cheap. Just buy any recipe you see here that's a daily one. Now, something I want to talk about that I've actually surprisingly seen a few people not know. When you make a storage chest, you should put at least 1 or 2 of them next to your crafting table, because if they're attached like this to a crafting table, when you go to craft something, it will pull items from all those chests. As you can see, when I come out of the menu, all the chests close. That's because it's pulling items from all of those chests. You don't have to have all the materials on you to be able to craft stuff. You can just have them like this. Now, you should only basically have crafting materials in these chests. You don't have to have like furniture and stuff. But yeah, please do this. Now, speaking of chests, you may think you're running out of a lot of space quite quickly with these small chests. There is a chest upgrade that you can get where you can craft better chests that store a lot more items. You need to recruit 30 Pokemon, or have 30 Pokemon 30 different Pokemon spawn in the world for you to unlock that recipe. So doing the house method I was talking about before, where you're freeing up your habitats and sticking a lot of Pokemon in these like kind of fenced houses like this, at least just temporarily, and then yeah, freeing up those spawn areas so that you can have more Pokemon spawn in is a good idea. You want to get to 30 spawns fairly quickly so that you can get the bigger chests, so you can start having a much better storage system, not having a million little tiny chests all around your area. You want to have the bigger chests, and you can actually start organising your items a lot sooner. Now, a few things about interacting with Pokemon specifically. You might have noticed early on, Pokemon like Scyther asks you to give him lumber so that he can, or not lumber, but logs, so that you can turn it into lumber, or he can turn it into lumber. You want to do this pretty often, whenever you can, because you're going to need things like lumber quite a lot for recipes, especially later on, and you would much rather do it now, just whenever you have the chance, than waiting till you need it, because it does take real life minutes of time for him to actually finish doing said thing. Now, another little tip for interacting with Pokemon: if you want a Pokemon to follow you for some reason, rather than speaking to them and then going through the whole dialogue menu to get them to follow you, you just press up on the D-pad, then they'll start following you. And if you want them to stop, you can just hold it again and they'll stop following you. Makes a little bit of a time saver, especially in the early game if you're having a lot of Pokemon follow you around to do things like lighting campfires and stuff like that. Quite a handy little trick. Oh, now another thing I forgot to mention when we were at the PC before, but something we should definitely do. When you starting out, when you get the shop and you're starting to upgrade the area and get more items in the shop to show up, something you want to buy, make sure you buy these, don't just ignore them. The packing tips, the handy bag, the PP up, and these packing tips, you want to buy all of these as soon as they're available. These just give you more inventory space. The PP up makes you have more PP so that you can use your abilities like cut and leafage more often, and the handy bag will make it so you have this little extra storage space down here where you can do things like put blocks, or you can do things like these rails I have. I can put these in my handy bag and then click in R3, the right stick, and then have it available, and then it's just always here available. I can just go between them if I'm building stuff, sorry, or doing other things that I require a lot of items for. I don't want to keep having to go into my menu to pick each item that I want to use for said thing. I can just do this. So make sure you buy these items as soon as you possibly can. Now, another item that can be really useful that you can find early on is security cameras. I have a security camera over at the beach area. If I don't want to walk all the way over there just to like check if there's any spawned Pokemon or anything like that, if you put down a security camera, you open up your menu, go into your camera app, and then you can select security cameras. And look at this. I can look around, I can say, hey, look, there's a treasure there. I can look over here, I can see there's Slowpoke chilling. There's nothing spawning in these habitats, so okay, I don't have to go there and check. And you can basically put, I think, an infinite, maybe not an infinite amount, you can put a lot of these down around your world. You don't want to have to walk around to check on things like if your plants have grown that you've put down, or if there's habitats that have got Pokemon available. Anything really that would require you to walk over and actually physically see, just put down cameras. Put down the security cameras and you can easily check these areas out without having to walk everywhere. Now, another useful thing you can do in the Pokedex app is if you're looking for a specific Pokemon, if you come into the Pokedex app and say, hey, I want to know where Squirtle is, I can just search, press the plus button, would you like to search for Squirtle? Yes. Try asking nearby Pokemon for where Squirtle is, and then I can just run up to, well, there he is there, but if I don't know where he is, I can talk to Vespiquen here. I am indeed looking for someone, and then it'll just give you a kind of general direction. It'll say, hey, he's over that way, in that direction. So, kind of helpful if you're looking for a specific Pokemon and they've just wandered off somewhere, because some of them do like to do that. Something I wanted to talk about, if they actually showed up during this recording session, but they haven't, is Huo and Lugia. If you've played the game for more than a few hours, you've probably seen Huo or Lugia fly overhead. And when they do fly overhead, they always drop either a rainbow feather or a silver feather. You want to grab these as soon as they show up. I stupidly saw one dropping and was in the middle of doing something in the game and said, oh, I'll go pick that up later. I ended up forgetting to grab it for quite a little while, and then when I finally remembered that they dropped one and went to look for where it was just gone. They will eventually despawn, so whenever they show up, just make sure to run over to where they dropped their feather and grab it. It'll only take you a few seconds to do, and it's worth doing. You don't want to miss out on them, as I assume they are going to be quite useful later on in the game for crafting or getting other items. Okay, there's one more thing I want to talk about, and this is a little bit of a spoiler, but I won't go into too much detail about it. When you are playing the game, you'll notice these gates. You'll find a few of these gates around the world. Once you get access to open these gates, I would recommend that you come to this one first. This is the one that is near where Onyx is found in this cave. I'll show you on the map here. It is the one that is in the northwest part of the map. I would highly recommend doing this one first, as the area that this leads to gives you a lot of upgrades to things that you really would want early on and to try and get as soon as possible. Like I said, I'm not going to go into details. I don't want to spoil what they are for you, but just saying, highly recommend, if you're going to go through these gates and explore, highly recommend doing this one first, as it will give you upgrades to things that are immediately going to be very, very useful to you. Alright, that's all the little tips I have for you guys today. If you have any more tips or little bits of knowledge that you have also discovered through your own gameplay or just seeing somewhere else online, feel free to share them in the comments for other people, as well as myself. There might be some stuff in there that I don't know that I could find useful. But hopefully some of this was at least somewhat useful to you in some way. Good luck with your Pokopia adventures and your builds. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys later. Bye bye.